welcome to another episode of Adventures in Movies looks at ... This week I'm joined by the hosts of Adventures in Movies.
That's us.
That's us.
And this week we are looking at Lake Michigan Monster. This is a movie about a man named Seafield who has gathered a crew to hunt a sea monster who killed his father. Turns out that Seafield and the monster are more than anyone first thought they would be. So, right off the bat, how would you two describe this movie?
Ooh.
There's
Good question.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Absurdist, right? I guess.
Yeah, I would put it up there with the late night Adult Swim, Tim and Eric things. This is what I feel. So Butt Boy, right? I wasn't a fan of Butt Boy, and I feel like the jokes were there for Butt Boy, but the joke was it's taking itself seriously. These guys were, here we go, guys. The joke's weird. This is not serious. This is nowhere in the line of
So
anything.
it's the opposite of Butt Boy.
Yeah, it's the opposite of Butt
It's
Boy.
the
But I feel
exact
like where
opposite.
Butt Boy, I think, thrived, where the seriousness carried the movie. This movie, the silliness and absurdist parts, there were all one-note jokes, and that's the first half of the movie was fucking great. The third act is fucking great. That middle half is just why are we doing this? This should have just been dropped.
It reminded me kind of of the Mighty Boosh at first. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. It was on Adult Swim too, kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember.
And really irreverent. And at first I was on board. At first I was like, okay, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Initial impressions, but yeah, it proceeded to get in its own way. I would say.
Yeah.
It is. I would say I wouldn't say it's a one-note joke. I'd say there's too many notes in this one because it's all over the place, which can be a good thing, but not for almost an hour and a half. Is I think the big problem with this movie. But it's not all bad, and actually, I think there's some very interesting things about it. But it's a small movie, 4 or 5 characters in it. The crew comprised of 4 people, very distinct personalities. Which one was your favorite?
Sean Shaughnessy was pretty great.
I thought he was awesome.
I actually like Seafield. I thought the Seafield was pretty great too. But
he was actually my favorite.
Yeah, Seafield was pretty. He was pretty great, and they made a lot of jokes at his expense through the entire thing, which was what I did enjoy that.
What I liked about it was, I'm not comparing it to Airplane at all, but in the jokes in that, they're just kind of well, they're not supposed to be. They're just making comments. It's supposed to be natural and supposed to flow, and they're ridiculous and random sometimes. And the jokes are he's oblivious is basically what it is.
Right.
And I enjoyed that about the character. I thought all 4 of the crew were actually very strong characters.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Seafield the best. What about you, Danny?
I liked Niche Pepsi, and because she was
cool too.
She was cool. I like that she was a sonar person, and I guess that's all she really knew how to do. Everybody had their own quirk and the strength.
Well,
yeah,
they're kink, right?
Yeah, they're kink. Somebody was into
the sea.
daddy. Yeah. It's gonna go with daddy, but that's fine.
But what did you guys now? When I watch black and white movies, I never color black and white. I never really care. But this movie, I kept thinking, I wonder how this would look in color. What did you guys think of the use of black and white in this?
I like the black and white. Yeah.
Yeah. It set the mood. Mood.
I thought it made it extra silly. And yeah, where I will agree with you though is I would love to have seen some of the monster and creature design in fleshed out color because that was pretty outrageous stuff and absurd, if you will. And it would have been fun to see. It would have been like Meow Wolf or something.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's so weird. I don't feel like giving it color would give it extra to it. I never really thought I was oh, this would look great because the special effects were really super low budget, and I feel like it's great. It the black and white and the special effects gave it that little flavor, and which I loved I loved all about it. So I think if I thinking about it in color, I think it would take it away. I think.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you need to see Wrestle Massacre. Low budget color. That doesn't affect it.
Well, sometimes when there's lights.
Oh, this is true. So the lighting, black and white, makes a difference. You mentioned the monster, basic sea hag. What did you think of the monster? I thought she was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I thought
it was fun. It was fun. It was like something you would find at Dave's Pawn Shop. Like,
it was pretty basic stuff. You know what it reminded me of? That Smashing Pumpkins video. Tonight.
Yeah.
It was like that, which I think is based on that movie that going to that one where they go to the moon.
It's like a French
Yeah, the one that they show and everything with the rocket in the eye. Yeah. I thought the monster was cool.
Yeah,
Especially for the I think it actually added to the movie because by that point
it took too long to get there though. Yeah,
it took forever. Like you said, Danny, like good ending, good beginning, but the middle part like could have done without. If you went straight from the first 10 minutes to the last 10 minutes, it would have been really good.
Well, that's one of my biggest complaints too. Is I would say that the cast of characters, the Sean Shaughnessy, Ned Pepsi, and Ashcroft, and all like they build those characters up really well at the beginning, and then they completely drop them like from the whole story.
So that kind of leads to Michael. So to me, that was the turning point of the movie.
Yeah,
like it was already kind of for me. But like in the beginning, you get this real rapid fire jokes. Like they're just coming and they're throwing everything against the wall. Some work really well, actually. Some not so much. And then the jokes start dragging. And then they lose those characters. And then for me, I just wasn't as interested in it.
Yeah, it got off the rails a little bit. Although one of the funnier lines happens during that period of the movie. Now that I'm thinking back, but I mean, yeah, it doesn't. It was held together real loosely. I actually thought, like we were talking via text, like I thought it would have been much better had this been like a 3-part episodic thing, maybe like a web series or something like that. That would have been much more digestible for this thing. It was just it took too long, I would say.
I'd agree. It also you can kind of break it up into the first part is the hunt for the monster, or the first 2 parts, the hunt for the monsters with the cool titles, I think, like the naughty lady. I thought stuff like that was super really cool. And then the third act is entirely different from the first. Like Danny made a joke about it being anime and stuff, but it's completely different than the first 2. That could have been another whole episode, and it would have been a whole lot more digestible. I totally agree with you. So I guess we all agree that the third act was pretty cool. Would you say that was the best act, or do you prefer the first one?
I think, honestly, I do really think that the first act was, I think, the highlight of the whole movie. Like the third act was not that the whole movie is not comic book or anime influenced, but it has all the jokes, all the rapid jokes. It's super joke, and it's keeping you funny. It's keeping the story moving along. By the time we get to the third act, it's just pure action, and it's obviously making fun of anime and a lot of action sequences. I feel if we didn't have that middle part, that second middle part, I don't think the third part would have worked as well, at least for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. The first part was fun.
Yeah. I mean, this could sound silly, but I think it's like kind of more grounded in reality. I mean,
there's more to sink your teeth into in that first part of the movie. Like,
the characters are so great.
Yeah,
they are. Because the third part, you mentioned anime and comic books, but it's also obviously an homage to like the 50 sci-fi movies and stuff like that. Like
Captain Ahab and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff, but and it's fun, but also by the time you get to the third point is when the jokes start dragging. So that whole revenge bit just like went on and on and on. Like it was. What did you guys like, Danny? You mentioned the rapid fire jokes at the beginning, and I kind of. So what did you guys? Because sometimes when things are going quick, it gets super annoying. Like, what did you guys think of it in this case?
It was palatable.
It worked.
I would say it was palatable for me for a period of time, and then it became like, okay, enough. And then they did, and then at the end of the movie, they just kind of beat jokes to death, like severely, and it became hard. Like I said, it became hard to watch. Like I was kind of like rolling my eyes, towards the end of it because of that fast setup and then how they kind of changed to just driving one joke home. It got weird. I don't know.
It was weird because it is weird writing because when sometimes with the rapid fire of whether it's jokes or sentimental lines or whatever the case, you kind of think to yourself like, wow, they're trying really, really hard.
Yeah.
But it didn't do. In this case, it worked really, really well. And then after a while, it's like, okay, they gotta go back to that rapidness because I would rather see like 4 or 5 shitty jokes than one long mediocre joke beat to death. Like this is obviously like Danny mentioned, it's special effects are a little on the low scale. It's not meant for a big audience. It's like, do you guys think that there's a cult audience for this? Because I don't think so, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
there is. I really think there is. It's just like it's the late night humor. This is for what it is. It's those people that are getting high and watching it and thinking this is the best thing that they've ever seen. This is the Adult Swim fan base, like all over it. Like, I think it will have a cult following, and it will get it, and it will probably get bigger if it gets like picked up by Adult Swim or any of these late night blocks, TV blocks. And I think it will work. It works for that.
I'm gonna hedge my bet, and I'm gonna say both because it's like there is an audience for this. It's very small. It's a very small audience that just really loves this kind of stuff and really would watch it again, I guess, more than once. But it's not a big group of people.
That's what I think. Like for it to be cult would be someone who's willing to watch it repeatedly, and then tell everybody that they need to watch it. Like I can't see like anybody like with the caveat though. I will say if they break it down into episodic parts, then at that point it becomes a little better. It becomes more digestible. It becomes one of those things where people will suggest others want to watch it. But as it is right now, like I kind of agree with Blake that I can't imagine a large group of people watching this movie.
Yeah.
So final words. This is I don't know where this is. I think this is available video on demand, but we'll go with opening day, or pay money to rent it, stream it, or completely ignore it. What do you think, Danny?
Stream it. I think it with word of mouth, you'll find an audience. Just be wary of that second act. But other than that, just enjoy the movie for what it is, really.
How about you, Blake?
Yeah. Don't pay money for it. Whatever you do. Stream it. It's dumb enough and silly enough that I think, like Danny's saying, if you're gonna indulge in some mind-altering substance, hang out, maybe like kind of MST3K it, kind of make fun of it while you sit around and watch it with some friends, maybe I could see that being a fun night.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'd say stream it. I think it's the strangest thing we've ever watched. Like, not in the context of it, because 499 is much stranger. Like the premise of a time-traveling conquistador.
Yeah.
And Butt Boy is also much stranger. But I think it's strange is because it's actually enjoyable for, I'd say, 90% of it. It's just not very good at the same time, which is really weird to say.
Yeah. Kind of forgettable, unfortunately, for the
it is. But it's funny. Strong characters, really good writing at times. Laugh out loud funny throughout.
I totally laughed out loud. Yeah, and you know what? I'll say this: I would be game to watch the continued adventures of Seafield.
Yeah, me too. That's the funny thing about it is if it were a little bit tighter, a little more focused, and if they know their limitations, because not every story has to play out for 90 minutes.
Right.
I mean, you shave an hour off this thing, and I'd be shouting to the rooftops how everyone has to go out there. Speaking of shouting to the rooftops, wanted to suggest a YouTube channel. It's called Grindhouse Funhouse. It's hosted by Paul from Montreal. So Grindhouse Funhouse is a channel where they he basically nerds out on all kinds of cult and underground movies, exploitation, blaxploitation, horror, action, sci-fi, 70s, 80s, 90s, bunch of cheesy movies, plus unboxings of like his movie collection and vinyl. It's really good stuff, but you can check it out on YouTube. You can check us out too, where we talk about Lake Michigan monsters and butts and time traveling conquistadors. And dogs, we love well-groomed dogs.
Very, very
Check
true.
us out.
Please do.
And we will talk to you next week, and we will talk about the granddaddy of rock and roll.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Adios,
Alrighty, guys.
everybody.